Hello.
Then, now,
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number 146 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for ECW May 6th, 2025. It is ECW, and yeah. Tonight we have two matches set for the show. We have Naomi taking on Lucy Stryker of Next Gen, as well as Uncle Howdy facing off against Warden in our main event. We also are going to hear from Ruby Riott following her attack on Florence last week, and Ava's got a big announcement in regards to the Hardcore Championship and the future of that, which will affect the next coming weeks of TV heading into Heatwave. And, next week we do have an ECW World Tag Team Championship match, as Rey Mysterio and Pistolero earned the shot last week to challenge the Wyatt 7 for the Tag Team Championships. So yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We start the show with Ruby Riott in the ring, or she makes her way out to the ring even. She goes, "It's been a long 2 weeks, right? A long 2 weeks with Florence back at the helm of this brand. Okay, I know a lot of people back there look at Florence as the top of this division. But is she really? Because I think that over the last few months, I proved that she's not quite on my level. Because I took that championship from her. She would have still been champion if I didn't step in and take the championship from her. She got her ass beat by Blair Davenport a number of times. She's vulnerable. Okay, and Florence stealing my championship in a triple threat match sounds about par for the course from her. But listen here, I've been going at this with Florence for a long time now. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon until I get back what is mine. After all the hard work, after all these years of being denied everything, I'm not going to just let Florence take my championship into the night and run off like some hero. I want my title back. So Florence, get your ass out here right now, and let's settle this one last time." Florence comes in and goes, "Ruby, over the last couple of months, you and I, we've done a lot of things. Us, Belair, all of it. All over this championship. And honestly, it makes me kind of happy to know that this championship that I helped establish and get made here in WWE, this championship that I took to new heights, is now at the point where all of these women, all of you and Blair and everybody else, want so desperately to be a hold of it. But now, this championship's back where it needs to be, Ruby. And if you want a shot at the championship, I'm more than happy to give it to you. As the former champion, obviously you're owed another shot at this. But Ruby, this is it. It took you, how long? 7 years to finally reach the pinnacle here in WWE and finally become a women's world champion. I've done that twice in much less time. 3 years I've been here. So, I hope for your sake, it's not going to take another 7 years for you to reach the mountaintop here in WWE. But if you want to settle this once and for all, I've got no problems doing it right here, right now. And Ruby goes, "Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. As much as I would love to take the championship from you, I'm not ready to fight tonight here on ECW. But let it be known that when the time comes, I will take back that championship." Then Ava Raine comes out. She goes, "Ladies, enough petty banter in the ring, because it's fine. I've got a solution for both of you. We've decided there will be one final match for that ECW Women's Championship between Florence and Ruby Riott. Now, as ECW Women's Champion, the youngest general manager in WWE history, and of course a proud women's wrestling advocate. It's my duty to attempt to make the ECW Women's Division the very best women's division, not just in WWE, but in this industry. And you two could help be the face of that. Talent like you and Rhea and other names who I'm working on trying to get transferred in before the end of the window. So here is what we're going to do. At ECW's Premium Live Event Heatwave, it's going to be Florence. It's going to be Ruby Riott. It's going to be for the ECW Women's Championship. We're going to find out once and for all which one of you two will be champion. And the person who walks out champion won't have to just win the match. They'll have to be the last woman standing. So who's it going to be, ladies? Who wants to spearhead this revolution, this change of the ECW's women's division into the future? We'll find out at Heatwave. So yeah, Heatwave, first match announced. Florence Ruby Riott, last woman standing match for the championship. You know, Florence has done a strap match and an underground match, I believe, with Blair Davenport, so I couldn't do either of those, really. Unless I wanted to, make one of them Florence's signature match, but that doesn't really make sense. Especially when Shayna's on this roster, and, other people like that, Lola, and all them. So, last woman standing. I know Ruby's been in one of these before. She's actually 0-1 in last woman standing women's championship matches, because her and Liv had one 5 years ago. I don't think he's had another one since then. I just specifically remember that one because it was at the second Evolution. Well, first Evolution in this save, but second overall. But yes, that's our Women's Championship match. Ruby Riott, Florence. ECW Women's Championship, last woman standing at Heatwave. You see Uncle Howdy taking a seat. And he puts his VHS tape in again. And he sees the bloodline again. He goes, this family brought together by hatred. This family brought together by power. Ripped apart by those two very same things. And now, this family's current leader, its great champion, its werewolf, stands atop of the roost. But Jacob, does your success inspire Jimmy? Does your success inspire Jay and Solo? Or does it merely irritate them? Because we've seen success in your family before. And look at what it led to. Civil war amongst your entire bloodline. And other bloodlines too. Our success is shared. When one of us is tag team champion, we're all tag team champions. Because that's what a real family does. Blood or not, we are family. But these championships are under threat from our next challengers, Pistolero and Rey Mysterio. Now, Pistolero is one hell of an athlete, but you, Rey, it's you I take umbrage with. Because you see, you're just like Jacob, you're just like the bloodline. Because you've got family too, yeah? Your uncle, who you took your name from, a legendary luchador, you took that name and you made Rey Mysterio synonymous not with your uncle, but with yourself. And then there's your son. Your son, who felt so betrayed by you and your terrible upbringing, that he ran away and abandoned you. Because you see, all I look around, these supposed blood families, all I see is agony and pain. I see people who aren't fit for success. People whose success is only going to drive a wedge between the rest of their family and them. So that is why we do this. That is why we take the championships around here. Because when the Wyatt 7 are champions, we're all champions. And we do it all for my family. The one who couldn't do it anymore. The one who can't be here anymore. Because fate decided it was his time to go. So anybody out there, hold your family tight. Because if you don't, we'll find you. He'll find you. And we will prove that our family is stronger. But blood runs bitter. '84, Naomi is having a fucking... She's making these girls, holy shit. Lucy Stryker against Naomi. You know, new look at Naomi. She got her win over Nene last week. And now she's picked up another win over her next-gen girl. She beats Lucy Stryker. 10 minutes 31 with a split-legged moonsault. 89 for Naomi, 62 for Lucy. So another emphatic victory for Naomi here tonight. After the match, you know, she goes to leave. But then she shakes her head. She goes, nah, I'm not done here. She continues to put the boots to Lucy. That's when Tracy Sharrow and Samantha Riggs, the other two members of Next Gen that aren't Kathy or Nene, make their way out. They make the save as Naomi continues to beat down on Lucy. And Naomi goes, it's fine. I can take y'all both on. I can take you both on. Because I'm better. I'm stronger like that. You want to get involved in my business? Proceed with caution, bitches. So Naomi continuing to run through Next Gen here with a win over Lucy Stryker here tonight. But there are still 2 more technically to go. 3 technically if you include Kathy, but she's the champion, so... We then cut to a pre-tape of Ava in her office. She says, ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks ago I made an announcement that was changing the future of ECW. I announced the launch of the new Hardcore Championship. Now this championship, made from the remains of a certain other WWE Championship you saw last year, will be contested in an extreme ECW 8-man tournament to crown, well, the first contender. I'm going to bring it to you here tonight, the full brackets for this tournament. The first 2 matches will take place tonight, the next 2 the next week, and then so on and so forth until we find one definitive winner. And that person will go on to Heatwave to challenge for the ECW Hardcore Championship. But that brings me to Kevin Owens and the Television Championship. You see, Kevin was rather stubborn when I announced the Hardcore Championship. Kevin was rather dismissive of this whole idea because he is the Television Champion. He has earned the right to be that. But Kevin and I have agreed that the winner of the Hardcore Championship tournament will go on to Heatwave to wrestle Kevin Owens, where the winner will become the first Hardcore Champion. So, let's take a look at the bracket. Tonight we're going to see Brody King and Sheamus one-on-one, as well as a new signing to ECW. Otis makes his debut on this brand as he faces off against Moose in a first-round match. And next week, the final 2 first-round matches will also take place. Cesaro faces off against another new ECW signing, Dijak. And finally, Jake Something, a new arrival here on ECW with Sean Spears by his side, will face Katsuyori Shibata. Gentlemen, best of luck, and may the best, most hardcore, badass guy on this roster win. We then cut from that to Kevin Owens backstage with Kelly Kincaid. You can see he's very frustrated and just like looking at the camera. And Kelly goes, Kevin, we just saw it announced there, the Hardcore Championship tournament. The winner will face you for that championship and your championship at Heatwave to unify the 2 championships, Kevin. He goes, not Kathy Kelly. Come on. I know you're paid to ask the questions around here, but hey, let me ask you a question. What do you think about all this? Okay, because I think it's exciting to finally bring, a guaranteed feeling of extreme back to the ECW brand after so long. No, not that. You're so much worse than Kathy. Kathy Kelly would have answered my question better than that. Okay, because I won this championship. I've been television champion for 4 months now. Okay, and I've defended this championship every single opportunity I've been asked for against any opponent, including at WrestleMania when they threw 3 of the guys at me. Now, I don't know if it's because I called myself the People's Champion that, got under the skin of Ava's father or not, but somebody back there clearly doesn't want Kevin Owens to be champion, and they proved that they couldn't get it off me. They had to BS their way through it. And Kelly's like, well, then why did you agree to Ava's proposition? He goes, not Kathy Kelly. I understand you may be new to this industry, but Ava's offer, while terrible, absolutely terrible and unfair to any other wrestler on the planet, on the roster, it's not unfair to me. Okay? Because I saw those 8 guys she put in that tournament. Otis. Okay? Guys like that. If you don't know anything about Kevin Owens, let it be known like this. I've been around here for 10 years now, and they've tried their best to stop me being me. But anybody who knows me knows that I can be as hardcore as they come. So I haven't got an issue competing in that match at Heatwave, not Kathy Kelly. Because once I prove that I'm the most hardcore and I can do anything those guys can do, even better than they do it, I get to be Ava's new hardcore champion, as well as still the People's Television champion. And then, maybe, I'll finally start to get some respect around here. So, gentlemen, whichever one of you 8 posers it may end up being, good luck, and I'll see you at Heatwave. Because on that night, there's a prize on the line. And when a prize is on the line and the rules are hardcore, it's not fight Owens, fight. It's kill Owens, kill. 75. I expected better. That would be so much better than that in real life. I guess they're just not super over. Sheamus is declining. Yeah, sure. Brody King and Sheamus have a brawl, basically. A horse fight. They are all technically hardcore matches, but I don't know, if they'll all have, weapons and shit, but, hardcore championship alongside just, weapons and shit like that will also be, just stiff, hard-hitting, that sort of shit. But yes, Sheamus goes for the brogue kick in the corner when Moose, the Moosiah, appears at ringside. He's still got the necklace around his neck. He jumps onto the apron. Sheamus brogue kicks him instead. He turns around. Brody King parts him down with a gonzo bomb. Gets the free. And Sheamus is eliminated from the Hardcore Championship tournament in the first round. Big Brody King. He's the only House of Black guy that's been around since WrestleMania. Because, he fits the Hardcore division the most. Well, Ciampa too, I guess. But, Ciampa's got something down the line. But yeah. Brody King advances. He'll face the winner of Otis versus Moose in 2 weeks' time. 76 for Brody, 77 for Sheamus, so they are basically even. But Brody King does move on to the next round. We then see Pistolero and Rey Mysterio backstage. And Rey's doing the talking. He goes, hey, Bo, Uncle Howdy, whatever you want to call yourself. You want to talk about my family and my legacy? It's fine. Listen, Dominic, for years, has been going on at me for how I treated him, and I've made sure to put him in his place. If you're the one siding with Dominic, then I know you've got something wrong with you. But anyway, you have to come back, and you hide your identities behind these masks, I guess to honor Bray. And that's great that you're honoring Bray's legacy. But you're taking up entirely false identities and hiding your identity behind these masks. While myself, Pistolero, these masks are our identity. Lucha Libre is our identity. And next week, those ECW Tag Team Championships that you saved, that you all take great pleasure in all joint holding, you won't be held by you any longer because they're coming home with us. We then see Otis. Otis, I'm imagining in my head, like, I'll go over Otis more during his match. But like, just for the time being, imagine he's backstage, he's, like, getting ready for his match. He's like either pumping weights or like doing whatever, some sort of warm-up. And he's there, he's in just an ECW like tank top, and he's in trunks and boots and his normal gear and other than that. So he's not in a singlet, he's just wearing an ECW tank top and like trunks. And Shane Reynolds comes in, he goes, "Hey big boy, I know you're very similar to me in certain regards, big man, and I know why you came to ECW too, right? You saw all that Club Venus stuff going down last week and you wanted to get in on this too. Now listen, I know you're maybe a little bit of a weirdo and some people may not get that about you, but don't worry. I'm here to show you how to get with women, okay? And there's plenty of them, plenty of fine ones around here to do that with, Otis, let me tell you. Like, I just saw Rhea Ripley walking down the hallway. Watch, I'm going to go up to Rhea Ripley right now and show you how it's done." He walks up to Rhea. He's like, "Hey, Rhea." And Rhea just sort of shoves him to the side. And she continues walking down the hallway because she's annoyed. And then we say, "Mommy!" And Tatum Paxley walks in. She's holding, like, a teddy bear, one of those I'm sorry bears with, like, they're holding the heart that says I'm sorry. And, like, Pax has clearly been crying. She goes, "I'm so glad I managed to find you. I got thinking about last week. And I let us all down." And Rhea goes, "Yeah, you did." She goes, Mommy, I've been a bit needy recently. I just want to apologize." Rhea takes the bear. She looks down at it. She goes, "You know what, Tatum? I'm glad you found me tonight. Because I've got something I need to say to you too. This isn't a thing, okay? Sure, we may have been friends for a little while, but I came back here to reach the top of the women's division once again, and I don't need you holding me back to stop me getting there, okay? And to follow me all the way over here just because you want to reignite some friendship between us, I feel like I've got to be honest with you right now and say I'm not interested. So you can take this back. And if you really want to prove that you're sorry for last week, you'll leave me alone." And she walks off. And Tatum, of course, her face is distraught. She's like, "Mummy? Come on. You didn't mean that, right? Right?" '67 Rated Tag Match. Lola Vice and Thunder Rosa are in action against the Page sisters, Kenzie and Kylie of Club Venus. And it is Thunder Rosa and Lola Vice pick up the win. Lola pinning Kenzie Page with that back fist or whatever. 50 for Lola, 63 for Thunder Rosa, 62 for Kylie, 60 for Kenzie. After the match, Lola Vice is celebrating in the Lola Vice way. She's shaking her hips around. She's like trying to get Thunder Rosa to join in. Mina and Victoria Shields of Club Venus also get into the ring to check on the Page sisters. And Mina sees this and she gets in Lola Vice's face. She shakes her boobs, Lola Vice shakes her ass, and they start dancing together in the ring when Zoe Stark comes out. And, she's wearing a full suit or whatever, and she comes out, sunglasses on. She goes, "I can't sit back and watch this any longer." I just saw our general manager, the youngest general manager in the history of WWE, someone who wants to inspire this women's division to be the best it can possibly be, say that she's going to try and get more big signings through the door to join this division because she wants women's wrestling to be the star attraction here on ECW. And then when I see the women on this brand, I see this disgusting sexualization taking us back decades here in this industry. This isn't what the women's division is about. Thunder Rosa. And Shivana's like, huh? She goes, you came here with these credentials of being a very great and talented wrestler on this mat, inspiring women's wrestling, training the future of the women's division. You finally make it to WWE, and you're enabling this failure of an MMA fighter who only got here to ECW to try and plug our Instagram. This isn't the roster that we need to have here. Somebody needs to cleanse ECW, because making this place turn into this is disgusting. I know all you fat losers out there who pay for this kind of stuff encourage this. But don't worry, this is targeted at you too. Because the sooner you can wake up and stop viewing women, and women can stop acting like this, the sooner we can actually evolve in this division. So hear my warnings, all of you in that ring right now. If you want to take this stuff, take it far away from my show. Because next time I come back, I won't tell you twice. And she leaves. And you can see Lola and Mina sort of just give each other a look across the ring. And sort of shrug their shoulders hey, what the fuck? Okay. We were just having fun. But Zoe Stark clearly very anti whatever this is. Speaking of women, we see Naomi burst into the women's locker room and she's frustrated. She goes, those bitches. Okay, they think they got the one up on me tonight, huh? Because there was two of them that had to outnumber me, huh? Camera pans down, we just see Shantae sort of just sadly sat in her locker. She goes, you did pick up the win, so yay. She goes, Shantae, you good? You good to go? She goes, the doctors are still giving me updates about stuff, and you did shove me down. She goes, I'm sorry about that, but there's two of them and one of me. Okay, I'm gonna need them to learn the hard way you don't mess with me. And you're my tag team partner, so you better do your job as my tag team partner and teach them to a lesson next week alongside me. Me and you against Tracy Sharrow, Samantha Riggs, the last two members of that godforsaken stable I've got to get through before I can get my title shot. And Shantae goes, I said I don't know if I'm going to be healthy. She goes, I'll get you checked out by the doctor. You're going to be good. You're going to be good. You want to sit back here and whine and cry and moan about the attack at WrestleMania? Because I took care of the woman who did it. Or do you want to get back in action and get revenge on those women? And Shantae goes, well, I can't help but feel there's more to this. Why Nene, of all people, attacking me? She goes, because she's on this next-gen team. She wants her best friend to keep the championship. She goes, yeah, sure, obviously, but just, I don't know. Why was she not with the rest of them? She goes, I finally see what you're saying. Nene did this, but someone told her to do this. She weren't with Kathy and the rest of them, because Kathy told her to go and find you and take you out so she had an easier chance to defend her championship. Oh, I knew I had you around for a reason. And now I know the truth. And I'm going to tear those heifers apart one by one by one until I take that championship, not just for me, but for you, my friend. Austin Theory promo goes, last week I proved why the future of WWE runs through Austin Theory. Okay, because you guys love that guy. You love Joe Hendry. You love him because he sings and dances and you say his name and he appears. Well, guess what? He ain't here tonight. I've said his name times after time after time. Joe Hendry, Joe Hendry, Joe Hendry, Joe Hendry. He ain't here because Austin Theory embarrassed him last week. So I'm done with Joe Hendry. Next time you're going to see Austin Theory, I'm going to be what I always was destined to be. Champion. And there's not a damn thing you or Joe Hendry can do about it. '79. A good match. Big Otis stepped up, okay. I forgot to put Sheamus in, okay. Sheamus fucked Moose over, an eye for an eye, literally, because Sheamus has the eye injury. But yeah, Moose screwed Sheamus, Sheamus screwed Moose. And Otis picks up the win. 76 for Otis, 69 for Moose. And yeah, Otis moves on to face Brody King next week in the Hardcore Championship tournament. Now, Otis is, I'll lay out why Otis is on ECW. To me, Otis is always going to be, that lovable goofball. But, the way he is currently presented is, he's always going to be, a loser. Because, that's just how he's been treated. But, putting him on ECW, in my mind, I basically see him as, a modern version of, ECW when they had, Tommy Dreamer and that other guy. Just, you're the average guy, he wrestles in a t-shirt, and, the fans just love him because he has the heart and shit. But also, unlike Tommy Dreamer, he's gonna wrestle a stiff bastard. So he wrestles like a horse, and he's beloved babyface, sort of underdog, I guess. Everyman, blue collar hero, but can beat the fuck out of people as well. And we don't have to change really anything about his character. So I just thought ECW was the perfect show to put him on, so I could try and build him into that everyman ECW hero, the modern version of Tommy Dreamer and shit like that. So he advances and he faces Brody King next week. As I've just established, Otis can hit people, so can Brody King. So that should be a hoot. We then see Hook and Shibata backstage. Hook has his new speed championship over his shoulder, and he's showing it off to Shibata. Shibata's little text-to-speech is hey, that looks great on you, Hook. It's great to finally see you become a champion. When Sean Spears and Jake Something walk past, and Spears goes, "Congrats on your little championship, Hook. Nice to see someone finally reaching their potential around here. You took this young man under your wing, Shibata, coming in with all this pedigree from Japan. And yet, it was when he went off on his own that he found success and glory. Not when you were by his side. And now I hear that you're facing my Jake Something in this Hardcore Championship tournament next week. And I know everything you've been through, Shibata. Everything you fought through in your career. Some of the most heinous injuries I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. So I know you've got the guts and the heart. But Jake Something is an animal. He's a different man than anyone you've ever faced before. And maybe after next week you will realize that maybe Hook is better off on his own, and that Jake Something is better than you in our attempt to cleanse ECW. But hey, that may sound harsh, but I fear it's the truth. And just like I always say, the truth will always prevail. And it doesn't matter how much pain is needed to bring it to light. See you next week. Katsuyori. We then cut back to Tatum Paxley. She's sad. She's wandering down a dark hallway. Obviously, her makeup all smeared. She's obviously been crying again. Still crying. Ugly crying. as ugly as Tatum Paxley crying would be. And she's still holding her bear tightly. She goes, "What do you mean, we're over? I thought we had was special. You're gonna throw me to the side for a little bit of gold, a shiny object? Okay, why can't I be your shiny object? Mommy, I'm hurt. I'm betrayed. I'm worthless. Mommy doesn't want me. I came all the way over to this show to be with Mommy, and she tossed me to the side. I can't go on like this. And she just grabs the bear and like rips its arms off, and like fluff flies everywhere. And she turns around and she sees Shotzi and Hams, also just sat in the dark hallway. Shotzi goes, "Having a bad time?" Pax goes, "Not had a very good night, no." Shotzi goes, "Night, few months. What's the difference, really? Got abandoned, huh?" Hams here was the same way. Me, I just sort of lost the will for everything. Rock bottom, as they call it in my career. But hey, I've been trying to get through to Hams. Come on. Sit down. Let's have a chat. Next week, we actually have a full 5-match card announced for next week's ECW show. The first, as we announced last week, is an ECW Tag Team Championship match as the champions, the Wyatt 7, any two of them, we don't know which two it will be, it can be any two members of the Wyatt 7, will face off against Rey Mysterio and Pistolero for the ECW Tag Team Championships, plus the next two matches in the Hardcore Championship tournament. The first, Cesaro looks to get his hands on the championship as he takes on a newcomer to the ECW brand, that being Dijak. And, as we saw their face-to-face competition earlier on tonight, it will be Katsuyori Shibata against Jake Something in the Hardcore Championship tournament. Plus, onto women's actions, the tag team match has been confirmed. I guess Shantae has been cleared to compete in the match. It will be Nightlight teaming in their first match in a long time to face off against the Next Gen's Tracy Sharrow and Samantha Riggs. Plus, Rhea Bloody Ripley will be competing in her first singles match here on ECW after she made her way over in the transfer window. And we do now have one match official for ECW's Heatwave pay-per-view event, and that is the end of the line between Florence and Ruby Riott. One woman will stand, one will fall. Last woman standing to determine who will be the ECW Women's Championship, and that's at Heatwave in 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks from Saturday. 76. Sure. I had to keep Warden strong because he really wasn't happy about losing this, but I also didn't want to nuke his popularity. So, yeah. But Uncle Howdy, via a lot of Wyatt 7 shenanigans, manages to pin the former ECW World Champion with his sister Abigail. 66 for Howdy, 84 for Warden. And yeah, Uncle Howdy wins. And then as he wins, he sort of gets into Warden's ear. And he goes, "Look at him. Your new friends. They didn't come for you. Isn't that funny?" And then, the Wyatt 7 toss Warden to the outside of the ring. They stand tall. Jacob Fatu's music hits. He storms down. He takes the fight to Uncle Howdy. Now he's throwing hands with Uncle Howdy. He's outnumbered. Solo Sikoa also storms out. They're still outnumbered. Usos theme hits. Yeet, 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 yeet. Out come Jimmy and Jay. Super kicks to Kip Sabian. Super kicks to Preston Vance. A big 1D to Eric Rowan. And Uncle Howdy, watches on as his brothers and sisters, well, just brothers, I guess, Susie and Hannah are at ringside watching it all. And then Jacob Fatu grabs onto Uncle Howdy like he's going to game up for a Samoan drop. And he sort of just rakes Jacob in the eyes and slides out the back and scurries away. When Jacob Fatu grabs a mic and he goes, You guys think you're big and scary, huh? You think you're big and scary? Well, guess what? I live for big and scary. I live in the night. You think your family's stronger than ours? Well, our family has been through hell. It's been through a hell of a lot more than this. So here's our challenge to you. Myself, my cousins, against you four. 8-man tag team match in your house. Deadline. See you there if you really want to prove which family is better than which. You know what I mean? So yeah, big challenge laid out. 8-man tag team match. Jacob Fatu, Sosako and the Usos against the Wyatt 7 at In Your House Deadline. And like we cut back to Uncle Howdy. You know, he's on the ramp just sort of laughing. He goes, "Stupid decision. I tried to do this fair. But now, I guess I have to rip your family apart. See you there, werewolf." 77, sure, calmly a ECW show. Matt's more like you for the show. Do leave a way for in the comments below. I'll see you next time for SmackDown. See you then.